Hello and welcome to today's episode of Velocity Kinetics. On the day of recording, it is the 28th of December, we're still in 2025, but I'm going to be talking about how the channel went in 2025, do a 2025 review, because the review videos have been quite popular, whether it's because there's the word review in the title and that just does well on YouTube, or do people actually like that I like what I do over the year? I don't know, and apologies, I've just spotted a mess on my t-shirt in the reflection of the camera. I had a bit of blowback whilst doing some baking, some cakes and some bread, which is currently proving. And no, I didn't want to do a cars and cooking video, because I've struggled to talk to Sarah when I'm kneading bread, never mind try and record a video. So the 2025 Velocity Kinetics review, when I got the email through, because everyone does the equivalent of a Spotify Wrapped these days. When I got the email through, the video I thought had been watched the most this year was not the one I thought had been watched most this year. The video that got the most views this year is an old video, 4-year-old video, Living with a Swace Part 2, still gets the most views, and I don't understand why. It's nice that it does, but I'd like to know what I did or didn't do in that video to then repeat it or not repeat it. It's classic YouTuber, I suppose, classic self-filmed YouTuber on a phone, wonky angles, shaky. Maybe because it might be because it appears quite natural. Might be why it's quite popular. I don't know. Frankly, I don't care. It's great the video's a 4-year-old video is still doing that well. But second to that is the review of the Handley UK aid for getting in and out of the car. I apologise to the person who commented on that video. I didn't get an alert through that you had, because I do normally, the advantage of having next to no followers is when a video does get commented on. Granted, it does mean that negative ones I do take it to heart, but it also does mean that when there's a nice one, it's nice to interact, show a little bit of appreciation. And whilst it would be nice for the channel to be bigger and make more money, or just make money full stop, at the same time, it is just for fun. It's not my career. I don't know what my career is, because I just sort of landed in change management in a bank, and back into IT after loads of years of fiddling around and building computers, playing with software and things. Granted, I've landed in that role about 3 years now. Over 3 years, actually. Longest I've been in a role in my current employer, because circumstances meant I kept moving around. Would I love to be doing this full-time, driving cars for a living, getting paid for reviewing cars? Absolutely. Realistically, unless Amazon or Top Gear try to reach out for, as in not directly to me, because that would be one hell of an achievement, and very flattered, but also realistically just not going to happen. But as in, if Top Gear / Amazon went down the route of, we'll get someone who does YouTube but is actually very, very, very small, that would possibly be the only way I'd ever get past that. I haven't done any written content this year. I've thought about it, and I've just not had the time. Plus, working on a computer all day, sometimes the last thing I then want to do is sit and type. Sometimes it's hard enough to sit and edit a video, never mind type a document or a letter. The year itself, outside of Velocity Kinetics, has been a challenging one. Sarah and I were trying to go through an adoption process. That fell through. So that's been interesting. At the start of the year and throughout the year, I've been on off dealing with, it is grief, I suppose. Well, I suppose it is a bit of grief over George. He has been a bit of a theme on and off in some of the videos over the course of the year. I did touch in my year with a Civic video that would be the hardest bit about selling that car. If it ever came to being sold, it is the car he did his last journey to the vets, and it's the car that brought home his cremates, and I had to keep going to different vets who'd helped / done scans and things to pay bills and invoices that I thought had been paid. It's been a very challenging year. For the most part, most of my content this year has been in the Swacecast style. Combination of they're the easiest to film, they're the easiest to edit, they're the least time consuming on me to do. And generally when I film them, they're on days Sarah is working, and sometimes with how often her shifts are swapped around because NHS staffing isn't the greatest at times, it's the easiest content to film. However, we have done some other videos as well. I say we, it's just me. I don't know why I still say we when there is no Russ in these anymore. Not that he was in them much to begin with, but he was a valued form of feedback. I think he's been gone 3 years now as well. It's frightening how quickly time has gone. If I've done the maths correctly, over the course of this year, I've averaged a video every 3¼ to 3.5 weeks, which I think is good going, given my workload and given what life has thrown at me this year, as well as just needing some general downtime when I can, if I can. I've been able to do a couple of mini reviews this year. The Jazz, the EMY1, that was very good. The Civic review went out late, technically. I know technically about it, it did go out late because bits of it I had filmed not long after buying it, but the wind conspired against me. The audio was not that usable, so I had to film it another day. And then the 1 year with, that's why I clarified in the 1 year with video why it's a bit here, there and everywhere, I suppose. We've done the 3 videos on the Everyman car where in my opinion Skoda have completely incomprehensibly kicked Ford's arse on it, and I've forgotten until I was talking to my mum about this. Ford had also killed the Ford Ka as well. So the Ka, the Fiesta, the Focus and the Mondeo all killed by Ford in a very short space of time. Not that I particularly like the Ford Ka, but in the example that I gave in the end of the Ford Focus video, it's another step on that car ladder. Start with the Ka Fiesta Focus, or Ka Focus onwards and so on. It was a smaller stepping stone into the car market, because I likened it to the housing ladder in that video. So far, there hasn't been any real traction on some of those videos, but I do feel that it was a very worthwhile series. I might do more about it. I've had some thoughts that I scribbled on a bit of paper. I might do one more next year, but that might be something slightly different, almost like an outro to the series, I suppose. It was very interesting doing all that research. It was eye-opening. It was reality-shattering in many ways. That actually, in terms of pounds and pence, the £32,348 isn't an awful lot, and you could carry that much debt just in 2 credit cards if your bank or credit card provider is generous enough. You could carry that much debt anywhere else. So actually, that's not an awful lot of. It's not an awful lot of money. There's not an awful lot of car available for that money. But for me, I think Skoda embody the spirit of Ford, because you've got the smaller car at the start, you've got the Fabia, you've got the mid-size hatch at the Scala, and I know they class the Octavia as a hatch, but you then got the saloon, the estate of the Octavias. You then got the bigger saloon estate of the Superb. You've got the SUVs in the middle for those who enjoy or like an SUV, of the Kamiq, Karoq, Kodiaq and the Enyaq. You've got the electric vehicle in there of the Enyaq as well. And there is another vehicle, is it the Enroc, I think, that's just not long gone on sale. So there is that in there as well. That, for me, they're very nice cars, and ultimately it was a Scala that made me realise that Baleno had to go when it did. So apart from Suzuki not honouring the defect, that was theirs and their fault, but we'll brush past it because I don't own that car anymore. Actually, I saw it the other day and someone stowed the door in on it, which I don't know about anyone else. I'm going to just take a tiny tangent here. I don't know about anyone else, but does anyone else sometimes check the MOT history on their old cars, and then you see what it fails for, or it's failed for, or what it had an advisory for, or if you see it around town where you live, and when you sometimes see how badly treated it's been, you almost, if you had infinite money, you would walk up to them and say, "Here's £10,000 and give me that back. I'll treat it nicely." It's yeah, it's been a thing. But yeah, try and get back on topic, Chris. The Everyman Car series was fantastic in terms of just my end of things. Perhaps not recorded in the best manner that I would have liked. I had a tiny bit of audio problem on the final part of the video. I'm aware I didn't go through every possible manufacturer that I could have done, but then there are some you just skip because there's too many to think of, and then you have to think. Like, I forgot completely about Mazda. Could have had a look and see what Mazda could have put in, could have offered, and there were other manufacturers as well that I could have had a look at, but didn't. It was very eye-opening for me on that front. Then there was the video about the end of the Ford Focus. There's been, like I said, the mini reviews as we've gone, and then there's been sort of Swace casts interwoven as we've gone. It's been good. I know on the Swace cast I do often talk about the same couple of topics. YouTube, money, and moaning about Auto Alex does seem to come up quite a lot when I've looked at things back, and I'm torn because the Auto Alex content varies from being that is the standard of how you should do things on YouTube to this is not the standard, or this is the standard of how to fuck things up on YouTube, and it seems at times to swing wildly between the two. I watch a lot of it because it's more hit than it is miss, but that's sometimes why he gets maybe an unfair amount of attention. But if Mark Priestley, for example, did videos like that, then more videos like of an Auto Alex nature, then I probably would be including people like Mark Priestley, etc. into that. Just like I say, just based on what I watch on their YouTube. As for going forwards this year, I want to maintain the only AI usage in the channel so far, and I want it to remain the only usages of it, or at least in the I'll say the world of Velocity Kinetics, as I don't know if I included some images in a video. I know they're on the Facebook page. There were a couple of images in an old video where I've used a video, an image of George, and then had an AI program cartoonize him. And there's another one with Velocity Kinetics that considered moving from the picture of me on the Swace to a cartoon version of that with the Honda in the background, which I did admittedly use ChatGPT to do. And like I say, they're the only instances of it. I want to keep AI free on this channel. I don't want to use the AI voice unless it's for comedic purposes, and even then I'd question why I'm doing a comedic video, unless it's a bit like the Patrick Swayze joke from the original Swace video, the one that predates Living with the Swace Part 1, even just learning that Suzuki were doing the Swace 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, I don't want AI on this channel. The reason being is it creates a very copy and paste edit style. It's not what Velocity Kinetics is about, and half the time these days, yes, I might be talking cars, I might not be doing many car related things, I might just be driving. The whole point is I'm trying to tell a story, or just brain dump, be cathartic about whatever has gotten to me about something at any given time. It's advantageous for me, I suppose is the best way to put it. I want to stay genuine, and I know some people will go, oh, use AI for editing this AI. Where's the skill? Where's the skill? I'm all for AI interpreting massive amounts of data. I'm all for AI, heck, just doing a double check for you in the background on things, because I believe Clippy was an early form of AI, if I remember what my colleague told me correctly. You see all these brain rot, YouTube rot videos, whatever you want to describe them as, creeping up all over YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Some of them are just borderline pervy. They're not natural. I don't mind AI even. I can tolerate AI videos where it's things like I can't think who creates them, but there's I think they're Japanese, where they're these cats doing human jobs like these. Sometimes see this one of a ginger kitten working in McDonald's, and then goes home and makes himself some sashimi, or herself. I'm not sure what gender it is, but you know, that sort of video, where it's just completely devoid from reality. It's clearly AI. Even in the Everyman video where I was looking for the Polestar information, whilst the Google summary did bring it up, the Google AI assistant summary did bring up that it was, the Capri was based on Polestar 2, I went away and checked that independently. The AI has no place on this channel, and I've just seen the time. I've got some odds and ends to quickly bake and get done. And also, I've just realised, because the washing machine's now loading water again, this is perhaps not the smartest of places in the kitchen to start a video. And I'll pick this up when I can. So what else has happened this year on the channel? Well, something I've mentioned in a Swacecast has happened, and no, it's not getting a press car, or I don't know what else I've mentioned that I might have been trying to do. What has happened is a lot of views on the videos have dropped, and I don't understand why. Now, I have done some where I've put hashtags on, sometimes where I didn't, and that doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Now, whilst I don't do this for views, it's more a case of if I've changed how I've done the videos, I'd like to know what I've changed, or what I have or haven't done to have had an impact, because it might just be I've used the wrong tone of voice, for example. Might need to tone police myself, or it might just be you've just not chosen a very interesting topic. And if that was the case, then that'd be the end of the matter. I'd just be like, well, it was interesting to me, and I do this for me. Other YouTubers have mentioned views dropping. There's Laurie's Mechanical Marvels I often watch. I know he does a lot of train things, and I do find trains interesting anyway. But he mentioned in a video recently that some of his views have dropped so much that he nearly can't use YouTube as his main source of income. And I'm sure in his video, I can't remember if it was my brother who was telling me about this, or whether it was in Laurie's video where Laurie said this, but either way, someone has then said that there was another fairly big YouTuber who had been able to make money off it, had to go back into gig work just to keep the lights on, because YouTube isn't paying out as much. Now, this could just be that lots of bots. Let's just keep it vague as bots, or whether it's AI training going on and videos are being used. Now, they're not. If it's just a simple case of people are walking away from YouTube, that is also fine, because at times I do feel, on days where I would like Velocity Kinetics to be more than what it is, it's an unbelievable uphill struggle. Now, anyone who does content creation for a living will say how difficult it is, and actually when you listen to a lot of them, like if you listen to, I'm trying to think who, Lauren Jumps, that she meant, if you listen to her talk in her longer long form videos, she's got the Fancy Feats app. She's got 2 or 3 little things. Well, I say little. I don't know how big they actually are. But she's got quite a few things going on to create her income, and quite a few of them other people do have things going on. But when you compare myself with maybe 3 cameras at most, and I've not done a multi-camera shoot probably since Back to Back. But when you say, again, I know I'm going to be ragging on Auto Alex here, but look at the Auto Alex Productions. They are bordering on to professional production companies. Professional production. Sorry, it's New Year's Eve and I'm just doing the old Teams jiggle to make sure there's not a lot to do, and I don't see why we should be doing anything. But that's just between you, me, and the internet. So basically everyone. Anyway, when you compare what some people are doing, it's borderline full-on production. I don't recall the sort of last time sort of a person with a camera sort of doing the Velocity Kinetics way has done well and come from nowhere. Because again, if you think about it, again, I'm just going to use Auto Alex as an example because it's the easiest example at my disposal. But if you think about it, Alex was at Car Throttle. Car Throttle went big. Alex went off to do his own thing. He built his reputation and a following at Car Throttle. So then what happened when he went to do his own thing? He took that following. And then when the other guys, so when Jack and Ethan did all the gear, and Will and Edwin went off to do Top Dead Centre, that took Car Throttle stuff, that took that there. But if they were just coming at it and come at it as, I mean, Jack and Ethan might have gained proper popularity because what they do is so different to most YouTube channels. But top dead centre probably wouldn't have gotten very far. And likewise, if you think about Drive Tribe probably wouldn't have gotten very far if it wasn't for Richard Hammond in the background. And Mike Fernie, a nice guy, and took the time to reply to me when I messaged him a couple of years ago, and knows his stuff. If it wasn't for Drive Tribe having the backing of Richard Hammond, and in turn Hammond coming on camera to basically make it more than just an amateur channel, it wouldn't have gotten very far. And in turn, if Mike had just started up his own channel on his own without having done Drive Tribe first, he probably wouldn't get very far. And it is so hard if you're doing things for views to make money, it is so hard to get anywhere. And I've mentioned once before in a Swaycast that an old channel I've got called Storm Space Productions, where we made a lot of machinima style comedy skits. It was at that time where Rooster Teeth was extremely popular. Achievement Hunter was starting to become very popular, more mainstream, especially with things like the Tower of Pimps and the Minecraft Let's Plays, and sort of really drove that genre. And you had things like Mega 64, the Frag Dolls, and then College Humor, and it was Storm Space started in that era, and we got a lot of views on one video because the video was called It's a Kind of Midget, which is still up on YouTube if you wanted to watch it. And it got lots of views. What did I use at the time? It was blip.tv I used to host the videos to try and make money. It got the most views because it was called It's a Kind of Midget, which is a quote from an obscure British programme, Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere. I say obscure. If you're not a Peter Kay or Patrick McGuinness fan, it is obscure. It's a reference to an episode on there, and it's a reference to a Queen song. It's a Kind of Magic. And in the background, I changed the tag to be It's a Kind of Magic. So you could have gone to look innocently for a Queen video and then ended up with It's a Kind of Midget. There was another video I did that also gained some traction, but it was only on Blip. I didn't put it onto YouTube. I think it was at a time when cloning yourself in videos was very popular. That got quite a few views for its time. And there was a video I did, Left 4 Halo, got quite a few views on Blip as well. But that was pure luck. And when I say quite a few, I mean where things like Mega 64 and Rooster Teeth were pulling in hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views per video, I got a few hundred, which for me, not advertising it anywhere beyond my own Twitter, was quite good. And I am a staunch believer in, if the content's good enough, it will be found, it'll do. But back to the point I was trying to make before I wandered off, the views have dropped. And like I say, I don't know whether it's because amateur hour on YouTube is sort of coming to an end, whether cheap reaction content is the winner, whether it's people just... I've noticed how much content is actually just people rereading Reddit posts and sort of discussing things in my opinion, in quite a clueless manner. There's someone who comes up on my Facebook every once in a while, is it Charlotte Dobray, who just reads through a lot of things and then puts her spin on it, then puts the mean noises in, and actually it's just a fixed camera, and then there's a lot of tracking and bits that feel like it's melting my brain with ADHD. I don't have ADHD, but it feels like it's giving me it with all the unnecessary extra edits within it. So is my content too simple? It may well be, but again, I'm making the sort of content I'd like to watch, so I'm being very selfish. And again, would I like to make a living out of Velocity Kinetics, driving cars for a living, reviewing cars for a living? I don't think I can quantify just how much I would give to have that as a job. It is something I would desperately love to have, and now makes me realise I should have had a better backup plan. I should have for when I went to uni. I didn't have a backup plan career-wise, so I didn't have a very good backup plan. But the writing I did at the time, I should have pursued it more, because quite a few people said it was good. Even my godfather said it was very good, and I don't mean this to paint. Don't mean it like I'm painting my godfather as a unpleasant person, because he really isn't. But he wouldn't blow smoke, if you see what I mean. He would give me an honest opinion on whether he thought it was good, bad, or sort of yeah, you might be onto something. And the same with Russ when he was alive. Russ gave me very honest views on everything, and I've lost that. So I have to sort of just grab the camera and do things the way I think he'd like to still have things done. I do try and make the content misophonia friendly, try and avoid unnecessary clicks and clacks and gulps and things, because I know that triggers people, it triggers me, and I hate hearing it in the edit. I've known myself now throw a video away because, well, let's be honest, I was probably clicking and clacking with my saliva because I needed a drink and didn't cotton on I needed a drink. But this is before I went on all this weight management stuff through Adam Brooks a couple of years ago, and I was doing the same a lot of people do, not cottoning on that they're thirsty. It's amazing after how many hundreds of thousands of years of evolution that the human body still can't tell the difference between when it's thirsty and when it's hungry. But yeah, try and land this plane, Chris. The views went down, and I don't know why, but I'm not overly bothered that the views went down. It's more a case of, because they've been, I suppose, I was bothered more on the fact of they were doing well for me, well compared to Velocity Kinetics history, and then it dropped off. My favourite video of the year to do, I really like doing the Everyman series. Teams and ServiceNow going mental in the background. I really enjoyed the Everyman video. Granted, it took me made the first video in January. My computer's in pieces. Last one earlier in December. So it was nearly a 12-month project from watching the Funeral for a Ford episode of the Grand Tour. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I've recorded whilst I've been doing my work, because I had the thought, well, I'd written it down on a bit of paper that I've just put through the paper shredder tidying up. That was one of my favourites, as I've said. I've liked the Civic review videos as well. I do like the videos where I'm driving. Gives me something to think about and focus on. It is hard to make those videos misophonia friendly because of where the lapel mic has to go, and then I have problems with the mic muffle, whatever you want to call it, coming off. It's just a cheap, well, not even a radio mic, it's just a cheap mic that came with the camera. But the other thing is, with the way some people drive on those back roads, one of the last one, I actually had to shit can one of them, because I think there was a major road closed. I don't know whether there'd been an accident or something. I was just going for a nice Sunday morning drive, I suppose, maybe giving it a bit of beans up to the speed limit, but I had so many people up my backside. I nearly had the wing mirror taken off, and it was just sort of like, I don't think you need to see a video of me getting stressed, just trying to do something I like. It's not been without its problems. There's not been without its technology problems, not without my problems of failing to charge batteries and making sure equipment was suitably sorted, ready to go filming with. That is completely on me when it's done that. I've just realised I've been inadvertently leaning in closer and closer and closer because I'm just leaning on my desk. But also I've had to give up doing some videos when I'd like to have done them, because the organisation I work for is being sold to another organisation, and I want to keep my job. And I don't mean that as in what you say, working for free or what have you. It's not that. I've been working my way through AWS certifications. I've been working through other things to keep myself as an attractive prospect to be retained, because we're having to make guesses as to what the working relationship is going to be. It's been a mess, and I've been having to second guess and plan ahead. There's also been, for a lot of the year, there was also quite a, unusually, probably brought on by the sale, there was also quite a large gulf in opportunities for career advancement. And then suddenly, the tail end of this year, probably because they can't wait to backfill the positions anymore, opportunities started coming up, and I had to take them. So I've had to spend time polishing my CV. I've had to spend time looking at question banks and competency banks as well. I've also, some of the content also not come out because, even though it's over a year ago now that George was put down, it still gets me. I do every once in a while lose what I call my streak on not getting upset over it, and I need to get back to going to the gym again. I fell over Toby, fell down the stairs, tripping over him, and I hurt my ankle and my knee. And that, for a while, so I wasn't laid up as in a hospital, but I couldn't go to the gym, and I feel it in my stomach. I feel like my stomach's expanding. I feel like I've lost that. I need to get back into walking and just doing some photography again in the new year, so maybe some content will drop away again. But Sarah and I have also got odds and ends going on in the new year that, if it all comes to fruition, which we were trying to adopt a child, and as I believe I said in the first part of this video, that fell through, and that knocked us both, confidence-wise, motivation-wise, and also up until middle of August, I think I'd only had a week off from Christmas last year up until August. That was a very long time to go, or week and a half. And even then, with what leave I'd taken, it was all for appointments. It was not for pleasure. On those days off, I was actually incredibly busy. So it's only really been since September I've been able to chill out a bit more, wind down, I suppose. I don't really want to do the same again next year. I'm not going to commit Velocity Kinetics to producing X amount of content in however many. I'm not committing to like one a week or one a month or what have you. It's just going to stay on the current ad hoc release schedule. As it is, any videos I had in my backlog are now out. So I've got nothing in the backlog in the vault, but I don't think I had any in the vault last year. Next year will be what it be. I will put out what I can. I will do what I can. I would, if people would like their car reviewed, and I've said it in other review videos as well, please drop me a message. And I do like reviewing cars, so you know, your car can be subject to a review, similar to done in a similar way to how I would do the Civic and the Swace ones. It won't obviously get the same long-term review stuff. I will, of course, review any different cars I get as courtesy cars. To be honest, I don't think unless Honda suddenly feel very generous and give me a CRV for or a new shaped Civic as a courtesy car, I don't think I'm getting anything different. Although from Suzuki, if I get a newer shaped Swift, sorry, if I get a newer shaped Swift, that'll get a new review. I think for Velocity Kinetics, in this world of videos that are hugely tailored, curated, manicured, pedicured, however you wish to describe it, I think keeping my style, my uniqueness, my perhaps slightly rambly, storytelly, ranty, cathartic approach is the way to stay. I feel that these videos are a lot more genuine than a lot of the videos that are out on the internet, but that's just me. So we'll wrap this up here. Hope you all have a good 2026. I hope whatever endeavours you are all going for come to fruition, whether that's a new job, starting a family, getting married, buying your first car. Whatever happens, just remember, as we say, or I say at the end of every one of these videos, drive safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Now into another bloody meeting. Yes, Amanda.